Welcome to Pigeon River Farm, doing farming right. I'm Robert Brown, the owner of Pigeon River Farm. Thank you for viewing. Well, good evening. Tonight I want to talk about budgets. I want to talk about planning for the future. I want to talk about the past and look at it from a financial and a business structure standpoint. Being a small farm, we only have a limited amount of resources. We are debt free, so that's one of the keys. So maybe small, but pretty limber and powerful because we don't have that debt. But with that said, you still got to make adjustments continuously. And over the years, we have expanded our cattle herd and to the point that I have now reduced the cattle herd last year. We brought it back down. The reason being is the volatility of the livestock cattle market. We recognized that we were just too small to be efficient in that, and it didn't take too many times of having a lot of input cost right up to the point at which the cattle are sold and then see the market drop off significantly. On the other end of the spectrum, we found that our meat goat business has been really good to us. Been in enough years, analyzed it, and realized that's the area we want to expand into. We found that the market is very stable. It's growing, at least growing in our area. That the pricing structure doesn't seem to go with the cycles that the cattle go through. Respectively, you're looking at a 1-year cycle from birth to finished product. Where in a case of cattle, you're looking at 2 years, and at 2 years can be quite a difference. So what our decision was is we found that raising a Scottish Highland cattle, there's quite a market for high quality breeder stock. So we've simply got out of the beef market for meat sales and moved into the breeder market and at a small volume. So we have a small volume. It's part of our revenue stream, but it's not our key revenue stream. Our key revenue stream right now is heading a kind of a tie between our goat business, so our meat goat business that I'm planning expanding by another 50 to 75% next year, and our layer hen business. That has been pretty solid, pretty predictable versus the cattle end of it like I just described. So in the case of the egg business, our prices, we've kept their prices very stable. We're not going to chase it up and down. We are aware of we could have made a lot of money at one point, so we left some on the table. The flip side of it is we also haven't had a cut our price when prices go back down. Very loyal customers through our retail distribution system that we have plugged into many years ago. So happy with that component. So, looking at analysis on the livestock end of it, chickens we're going to keep about the same size. We got about 450 hens. Stay around at end 450, 500, 550. That's kind of the plan. Winter eggs are golden. Summer eggs, not quite so much. We make a bulk of our money. If we can have full production in the wintertime, we always have purchase orders in excess of what we can produce. On the flip side of it is during the summer, never 100% sure, usually around May, sometimes we do have to deal with cull eggs. In other words, what do we do with the extra eggs that we have? So them are the things that we have to contend with in the marketplace. Then we have the high tunnels. And the high tunnels, we have experimented and tried a variety of different things from commercially growing blazing hot peppers years ago. One of the more successful products we've been raising, remember we are north up toward the Green Bay, Wausau, Wisconsin area. So I'll give you an idea on a map where we're at. So it's cold, it's not watermelon country out here. My friends down in Mississippi, that's where you grow watermelons. So to have local watermelons growing outside is not even a practical option. So what we've done is we've utilized the high tunnels. We got 10,000 square feet under plastic that we utilize during the winter time for the poultry, and the summertime we grow watermelons in it. So the watermelons have been a very good value. Definitely not going to get rich off them, but we're double leveraged the high tunnels. So during the summertime, and then we've been experimenting with raising sweet corn. And the rule with sweet corn is if you're 30 days ahead of your competition, you're going to have really good sales. So we are doing more with a process of raising sweet corn, experimented the last 2 years. Last year I had enough that we had some viable sales. So I'm looking at all of these areas for economics. So we're looking at literally your cash flow. So we know that the eggs give us perfect cash flow. We distribute every week and we get a check based on that. Then the goats, we typically have around 2 sales cycles per year. Now with the calves, a little bit different in that regards. We're selling young breeder stock every year. So that changes the equation. So we have a different model to look at. And as I said, the high tunnel we've experimented with a couple different ways to find what works the best. So you have to make changes when you're planning your operation. Being steady is valuable, but you have to adjust as market conditions adjust. But don't overreact. One of the things that I see so often with is people that overreact. Unfortunately, I have to say a lot of my fellow farmers have a little of the herd mentality. I've seen it where they chase. I mean, you see it with the corn soybean guys. They're always talking about, well, next year's going to be better for beans. Oh, next year's going to be better for corn. They're chasing it back and forth. Well, slow and steady and keeping it more middle of the road, I guess we'd say. Middle of the road is going to be the keys. Since I am a recipient of buying in feed, now we don't buy any soybean, but we do have a corn product that we purchase in and many others. I'm kind of sensitive to what the local, we buy almost exclusively local, so what the local farmers raise, I'm sensitive to that because that's going to dictate my pricing. But that's about the only external component that I have to deal with. We're able to produce all our own forage, predominantly through grazing. We're getting pretty close to Christmas time here, and yet I have cattle out on pasture. I have goats out on pasture grazing. So a blessed year. It's going pretty darn good. Not every year is going to be like this. Then I put enough hay away. Should be good. Shouldn't have to buy any. So that part works very well. Of course, respectively with that's our goats and our cattle. So I control the whole entire cycle prospectively from the feed, care, and ultimately to whatever distribution channel I'm going to, and that does vary. Respectively in our high tunnels, that's pretty stable. The weather, external weather, is not quite the problem when you put everything under plastic. Overall condition of the year can be dictate, especially your early spring. How much temperature or how much sun you have tells how fast the plants can get off to a good start, or if you have a lot of work trying to keep them, what you plant real early, warm. That's one of the challenges. So to others that are entering the business, that are in the business, or have been in a lot of years, doing that review and thinking about different variety of livestock and business ventures you have on the farm is how to keep your farm viable. Well, this was a great conversation. I want to thank you for your time and have a most wonderful evening.